Hi everybody, it's Andrew Sims here from SuiteFiles. Welcome along to our webinar today. It's just gone 3 o'clock and here in New Zealand, so let's get started and get stuck into our content for today. So first of all, a bit of an introduction. My name's Andrew Sims. I'm one of the founders and the CEO here at SuiteFiles. So welcome along to our webinar today. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Xerocon in Brisbane, and a lot of people came to talk to us on our stand, but we never really get a great opportunity at those kinds of events to show people just how SuiteFiles works. So today, we're going to spend around about 45 minutes just going through a few things in relation to SuiteFiles, and in particular, having a look at a good demo of how the system actually works. So just a little bit of housekeeping first. I do have this webinar being recorded right now, so we'll send out a copy of that to everyone who registered for the session. Watch out for that in your inbox probably tomorrow. If you've got questions, you can type them into the Zoom control panel. They'll just sort of collate, and I'll have a look at those at the end of the webinar. Please do type any questions you have in, and we'll get to addressing those once we've got through the main content of the session. Also, just so you get a better experience with this webinar, if you close any unnecessary windows or applications you've got open, that'll just help with bandwidth contentions and things like that, so that hopefully you can hear and see everything as best as possible on your computer. Now, today's agenda, pretty straightforward really. I'm just going to do a little bit of an introduction into us here at SuiteFiles. Then we'll have a look at how SuiteFiles can help you and your business. And then I'm going to have a quick conversation also about migrating from your current file system to SuiteFiles and how that could work for you. Okay, so first of all, who are we? Who is SuiteFiles? Well, we're a small business. We're based in Wellington in New Zealand, and we've been operating for just over 6.5 years now. We're a business that you'd say is born in the cloud. So everything we do is fully cloud-based. From day one of operations here at SuiteFiles, every system that we've used has been cloud-based, and we certainly firmly believe that all businesses out there should be trying to turn those servers off and go fully cloud. We're pretty tightly aligned with Microsoft. We're a Microsoft partner here in New Zealand. We've won a partner award and been finalists on other occasions in their annual awards. So everything we do is Microsoft-based. That means we're doing things with Office 365, Microsoft's business cloud platform. We're also doing things with Microsoft Azure, which is their data center and other sort of hosting platforms as well. So if you're in the Microsoft world, yeah, obviously we've got the solution for you. We're what we call modern practice advocates. SuiteFiles actually, its genesis came about through a relationship with Xero and the whole idea of helping move accounting firms fully into the cloud. Now that whole modern practice idea came about, actually it was more than 6 years ago. It was actually just before SuiteFiles was even started, and we were helping Xero and advising on ways in which accounting firms could get their files off a file server and put them into a cloud-based solution. So yeah, we've got a long history of working with Xero and helping accounting firms get into the cloud. The SuiteFiles was actually designed for the small, and I should actually have the word medium in there as well, the small to medium business. We've got clients who start in size from the sole operator, the old-fashioned one-man band, right through to up in the hundreds of users. I think it's important to understand that SuiteFiles is designed for the small to medium business. It's not a consumer product that has tried to scale up to work in the business space. And it's also not an enterprise product that's been scaled down to work into the small to medium business space. It is designed from scratch to work for small to medium businesses and to meet the needs of that size business. And then something that we're going to look at quite closely today is the integration that we've got with accounting software such as the Xero Practice Manager. not only have we been helping accounting firms move to the cloud, but we have this integration point that really helps with it's a lot of little things really that all add up to greater efficiencies inside your accounting practice when you're working with SuiteFiles and the Xero Practice Manager itself. Okay, so what's the problem? Why should you be interested in SuiteFiles? What are you trying to do? And generally, when most people come to us, the problem that they're trying to solve is finding the best cloud-based file management system that they can get that will integrate with Xero. And really what the real driver behind that is actually they want to turn their server off once and for all. Most businesses that we deal with are really going down that route of going fully cloud-based, and often files are the last thing that they're trying to get off that server, and that's where we come in to help you out. So what do you need? Over the years, we've spoken to, well, it'll be thousands now of accounting firms, and we come back to 5 key things that people are really looking for in terms of a file management system. Of course, being cloud-based. So a cloud-based file management system is what people are after, and that's generally the high-level thing that they mention to us. I just want to turn the server off. I want to go to the cloud. What can you do to help me with my files? Then there's some other underlying things that people are always concerned about as well. First of all, email management. So this is the whole thing around trying to make sure that you've got content from your inbox saved actually into your file management system, so you've got everything in one place, and that content that originally came into your inbox then becomes essentially corporate collateral that anyone in your organization can then see and use. For our accounting friends, it's integration with the Xero Practice Manager and Xero HQ, and today we're going to have a dig into the Xero Practice Manager integration rather than the HQ side of it, and that's where with Xero Practice Manager you'll get the richest integration with SuiteFiles. We're going to talk about migrations later on, but a zero downtime migration, when you change systems, and accounting practices will be very familiar with this, especially if you've already made the move from a previous accounting system to Xero. It takes time, it takes energy and thought, and often there can be some downtime when you're going through that process. At SuiteFiles, we've built some tools and processes where we're really targeting a zero downtime migration. We hit that target, I'd say 99.9% of the time, and I can talk to you a bit more about that later on today. Then the last thing is some compliance and peace of mind. You want to know that everything's backed up. And with SuiteFiles being built on Microsoft's Office 365 platform, absolutely everything is fully backed up. Microsoft back your files up, but also here at SuiteFiles, we've built our own backup solution as well that just fills a few gaps that Microsoft have in their backup regime, which really means that for as long as you're a customer of ours here at SuiteFiles, we're going to back up your file system every day, and you can restore a single file or a single folder at any point in time should you ever have that need. Okay, I'm going to switch now over to my demo site, and we're going to run through a bit of a demo of SuiteFiles just to show you exactly how it all works. Okay, on the screen now, we have the SuiteFiles. This is this is the client folder in SuiteFiles. If I go back to the home screen, what we've got here is obviously the home screen of SuiteFiles. And we've built this whole system around the concept of folders and files. So over on the left-hand side here, I've got my top level folders in SuiteFiles, and I can simply navigate my way around these folders, drill into them, and then I can see all the subfolders and files that are associated to that, in this case, this client. Of course, it's not just client files that we can store in SuiteFiles. We can store any files that we have in our business. And you can see I've got a number of other top level folders here in the home screen to store whatever it is I feel I need to put into the system. Obviously, in a business context, you'll have a whole bunch of information over and above your client folders. You'll have information potentially about HR things, employment contracts. You might have marketing information. You might have finance information, all those sorts of things, other business functions that you've got that obviously also generate files. But let's go back into the client folders, because that's where I've got everything set up here in my demo site. Let's go have a look at our client 99 Corporation. And in here, you can see I've got a number of different file types. Now, being built on Microsoft's Office 365 platform and being cloud-based, one of the questions that I often get asked is, do I need to use the browser-based versions of Office? So that's the online version of Word or Excel or PowerPoint. The short answer to that is no, you don't have to use those. You can still use the standard desktop applications that everyone is used to using. It's pretty straightforward, really. Anytime you click on a file in SuiteFiles, you will open it either into the browser app or the desktop app, just depending on your own personal settings. Now, I'm set up here in my demo site to always open my files into the browser, and I just thought I'd quickly show you what that looks like. So let's open this test letter document here, and it's going to open it up into Word Online, and you can see this is what the preview of these documents looks like when you open them up. If I want to edit this file, I just click Edit in the browser. This opens up the file in full edit mode in the browser-based version of the document. And I can go full screen, and just to show you, really, this really looks like Word 2016 that you'd have on your desktop computer. I can make changes to this file. The changes are going to save straight back into the SuiteFiles system. And the next person who opens the file is always going to see those changes that you've made. If I want to open this file directly into the desktop version of Office, that's pretty easy as well. I just click this Open in Office button at the top right here. And that's firing up Word on my desktop computer, and it's streaming this file straight out of the Office 365 data centers into Word on my desktop computer. When it opens up, I'll be able to start typing away and make changes to that file and save them straight back into Office 365. Let's open that properly. We can open the file, as I say. We can make changes. Let's just change all that back into black text. I'm going to get rid of that little bit of line item there. And I've made some changes to the file. I hit save, and those changes are going to go back into the Office 365 system, and the next person who opens the document are going to see all the updates to those changes. So pretty straightforward. And there you go, you can see the online version's already been updated with those changes that I just made. In terms of getting around the system, it's all very straightforward. You can obviously navigate your way around because we do have a folder structure in play. Most people understand that folder structure that they're going to put in place in SuiteFiles, and simply just navigate through the folder structure to find things. But in order to make things a little bit easier for you, we actually do a few other things as well to make navigation nice and quick and simple. So the first thing that we can do is we can mark folders and files as personal favorites. This means that anytime you have a file that you're working on regularly, or maybe a folder that you're working in regularly that's got a lot of content stored in it that you need to keep going back to, we can mark them as a favorite for very quick access in the future. So let's just say this 99 Corporation August report PDF file is a document that I need to refer to often. I'm going to mark it by clicking the star over to the right-hand side of that file, and that is now a personal favorite of mine. If I go to the favorites view here, what you can see, there you go, there's the 99 Corporation August report that I just made as a personal favorite. I've also got folders that can be favorites. Again, these are just links back to the original location. So there's a client folder there called 16 Candles. We click on that, it takes me to that folder, and you can see the files underneath it. So that's one way to get around. Another way to get around is to use our folder filtering feature. Now this is particularly interesting when you've got a folder that has a lot of subfolders immediately below it. In most cases, for an accounting firm, that's really going to be your clients folder. And you can see at the top of the screen here, I'm in the clients folder, and it says I've got 300 subfolders. Of course, I can scroll through that list of 300 subfolders, It's going to take me a little time to get to the bottom. Here we go. We're just about there. Okay, done. But you could imagine, what if I've got 10 times as many folders in here? I've got 3,000 client folders. Or perhaps like one of our bigger clients who's using SuiteFiles, you've got 30,000 client subfolders. Obviously, scrolling through that list is not necessarily practical. So we can use the folder filtering feature. Now, this folder filter, essentially you type some letters into this text box and hit enter. And when you do that, you're going to drill straight down into all of the subfolders that start with the letters that you've just typed in. So I'm just going to type the letter Z and do it very simply and hit enter. So you can see there, here are all my subfolders that start with the letter Z under the clients folder that I'm in at the moment. Also, you can type more text than one letter if you want to be more specific in how you drill in. So let's type ABC. And you can see there you go, I've now got 4 subfolders that are showing that I filtered that start with ABC. Then, of course, we've got search. So search is, I guess, the ultimate way of getting around the system and finding things, looking for things that you can't find. I've got a search text box at the top of the screen, and all I need to do is start typing into that text box. Now, I've just typed the word test, and you can see I've got some results that have come back. Now, what I've done here is I've actually initiated what we call our quick search feature. Quick search shows us 3 different types of result. It shows us client folders, which is what we've got at the top of the list here, and these have got the grey person icon to the left of them. We've got files, and then we've got other folders. Quick search is really designed to be just that. It's designed to be quick. It's designed to show us results that the system believes are relevant to us. Maybe that's folders or files that we've just been working on, things that have been shared with us, maybe things that have been marked as favorites. But it is also limited in its results. So we only actually see a maximum of 7 results for any one of the 3 categories that we've listed here. Now, of course, I've got 7 files, and maybe I'm looking for a file in particular, and it's not in that list there. It's obviously question, well, how do I find all the other files that might have the criteria of the word test associated to them? Well, all I need to do at this point is activate what we call our advanced search, and I do that by hitting enter. So I've typed in my criteria, and then I hit enter. And that's going to search across my entire file system. It's taking a bit of time on my demo site, and it should come back. Last time I checked it, there we go. It was just over 300 last time. There's now 325 items that have come back, have matched the search criteria of the term test. Of course, going from 7 items to 325 is a bit of a flip. We've now probably got too many items to actually just sort of scroll through the list and find the document we're looking for. So we can use these refiners that we've got over on the left-hand side here. Let's just take a scenario. Let's say the file that I'm looking for, I know it's supposed to be a PDF document. So I can actually refine based on file type here, and I can choose PDFs. You can see, okay, now I've actually only got 15 files that I'm looking through. 15 PDF documents in SuiteFiles, and maybe also it's associated to a particular client, aardvark testing. So there you go. I've got 3 PDF files in the aardvark testing folder that I can obviously choose whichever one I need to and click on it and open that file. And that's how search works. Now that we've done that and shown you around SuiteFiles and shown you a bit of an overview of how it actually works, let's jump in now to the Practice Manager and show you how our integration with SuiteFiles works from the Xero Practice Manager. So what I want to do is I want to go back a step, and I want to take you through a sort of a workflow where you want to create a brand new client in the Xero Practice Manager and show you how we can help you out and automate the process to create that new client folder inside SuiteFiles. Okay, so let's create a new folder, sorry, new client. Let's call our client Ultimate Demos Limited. And let's now save that client in the Xero Practice Manager. Obviously, I didn't put any other information in. We'll do that shortly. What happens now, though, is the practice manager looks inside SuiteFiles and says, have we got a client folder called Ultimate Demos Limited? And if the answer is no, would you like to create a client folder in the SuiteFiles system? I, of course, want to do that. And I want to do that by, I also want to apply what we call a folder template. Now, a folder template is a standardized set of subfolders that we can use when we set up our new client folder in SuiteFiles. So I'm going to choose just the company folder template, and I'm going to click Create. So now that's done. What you can see in the Ultimate Demos Limited page here in the Practice Manager is we've now inserted a link, and this is a link directly to the SuiteFiles client folder. So if we click on that, it's going to take us to the Ultimate Demos page or folder in SuiteFiles, and you can see the subfolders that we've already set up in the system. So obviously removing a step in the process of, or automating a step in the process of setting up a new client by setting up the appropriate client folder and set of subfolders underneath that. If I then turn around and decide that I want to change the client name in the Practice Manager, we can also automate the update of the client name in SuiteFiles. Likewise, if I wish to archive the client in the Practice Manager, we can archive that client folder in SuiteFiles too. Now what I'll do is I'm just going to put a bit more information into this client in the Practice Manager, and I'll show you how we can take that information and pull it back out of the Practice Manager and use it in templates and SuiteFiles. So the first job is actually just to get a bit of info into the system here. Some address details. I want to put some more information in here around being GST registered and a few things like that. I want to put some information in here, just information about the business itself that I'm keeping. And finally, let's just come down into here and click a few services that we're going to use for this, or that this business is going to want from us, and click Save. So obviously we've now set up some information in the Practice Manager, and I also want to just add a contact. So person in, and click Save. So we're all set up now. So what I can do with, as I mentioned, with this information is I can start to use it to pre-populate documents that I've got set up as templates inside the SuiteFiles system. In SuiteFiles, you can take any document and you can turn it into a template. When you do that, it copies it over into this template gallery that I'm accessing now. I've got a template that I've set up specifically for my demos called XPM Demo Letter. And in here, what you can see is a bunch of custom fields or tokens where we can take information back from the Practice Manager and populate this document. These fields or tokens work in a couple of different ways. First of all, things like this one here, which is just business name, that's just a straight swap. So we're going to look for the business name that we've got recorded in the Practice Manager and swap it, that name out for that field. These address fields here, these ones have some logic built behind them. So sometimes you'll have a postal address for your client, sometimes you'll have just a physical address, sometimes you'll have both. Rather than setting up fields for all these different combinations that you might have, what we're doing here is we're saying, let's default to using the postal address, and if we don't have that, we'll use the physical address for our client. Then we've got some other fields that have other kinds of logic. So anything where we excuse me, check a box, have yes, no, or true, false logic. We can put some fields into the system that then allow us to put different text into the document based on the value that's in that field. So for example, this line here is really stating, or sentence here is really stating whether the client wishes to receive our newsletter or not. And if they are not checked to receive the newsletter in the Practice Manager, and this client in particular, I have not checked the box, well, they've got a value of no for receiving the newsletter. Then we're going to insert 2 words, do not, into this sentence here. So as you can see, you can put some conditional logic around how you're structuring your files. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let's go back into the Practice Manager. Let's find our client. Ultimate Demos Limited. And let's create a new file based on that template. So I'll just do a search for my template. There we go, the XPM demo letter. Click on that. Now, when I click on the template, we get a few options down the bottom of the screen. First of all is we're going to get a name for this file. So the name is based on the name of the template and the name of the client. I could overwrite that name if I want to and call it something totally different, but I'm just going to use with that default name at the moment. Also, what you can see is that the system has worked out that we are in a client folder for Ultimate Demos Limited, and there is a corresponding client record inside the Xero Practice Manager, and so it's automatically populated the client name for me. At this point, all I have to do is click Create. And what happens is we're going to take the template, the XPM demo letter. We're going to take information from our client in the Xero Practice Manager, and we're going to create a file in the folder that we're in for that client right now and populate it with information. So you can see in here, we've got the business name, we've got the address details. I've said here, you do not wish to receive our monthly newsletter, and that's based on that logic that I've just shown you before. These are all the services that are required. So yeah, we can fill in this document really, really quickly based on that information that we're keeping in the Practice Manager. And that also includes custom fields that you set up. So obviously these service lines and all that I've set up and reporting on here, or presenting here in a document, those are all custom fields that I had set up in the Practice Manager, so they can show you exactly how this works. Righty-ho, that's really the basis of the XPM integration. And what I want to do now, finally, in terms of the demo, is show you our Outlook integration and what we can do with emails. So let me just open up Outlook here. Okay, we've opened up Outlook, and over on the right-hand side of my inbox here, I've got this add-in. Now, this add-in is connected to my SuiteFiles site, and you can see all the folders and all the files that I've got set up in SuiteFiles. So let's navigate around. We can find, if we scroll down to the bottom of our list here, we should find Ultimate Demos Limited, and you can see, there we go, we've got the folders, we've got the file we just created. Now, the whole intent of this add-in is to help you very easily get information in and out of your inbox. So when an email comes in, let's look at the second email down here, because there's a bit more in the body of the email. When an email comes in, you could have attachments, or you could have information in the body of the email, all of which you wish to save. Now, if you just wanted to save the attachment, I can simply just drag and drop it from my email there, and it uploads into the system for me just like that. If I need to save the entire email, so the content of the email is useful as well as the attachment, I can drag and drop the email from my inbox and put it into my folder over here. So it's really simple. That information is now sitting in SuiteFiles for anyone to see. In fact, if we go back into the browser here, and go to our client folder, you can see there are those 2 files that I've just uploaded into SuiteFiles already sitting there in the file system in the browser, ready for people to access. So that's the first thing, getting information into SuiteFiles. Of course, we also want to be able to get information out of SuiteFiles and easily attach documents to emails that we're sending. So if we create a new email, we click the Attach from SuiteFiles button, and we can navigate our way around the folder structure. And you can click on a file, any file, and it's going to upload into our email and attach it, and we can send that file with those attachments in it. Another thing we can do with our emails is we can create email templates. So just like we've got document templates in the browser, we can create email templates in Outlook. And I've got an email template that was set up the other day. All I need to do is open a brand new email, click Insert from Template, and I'm going to choose this template here. What you can see on this template very quickly is the same custom fields that we were using in our document templates in the browser itself. I've got a custom field here in my subject line. I've got an attachment here. This attachment has a custom field actually in its name. And if I open the attachment, you'll see custom fields set up in here as well. Then of course I've got custom fields also in the body text of my email. So of course what I can do with that now is I can create a new email. I go Insert from Template, and I now can choose from my Xero Practice Manager list of clients. So let's find Ultimate Demos Limited, and I can pre-populate. And what you can see now is all those custom fields have been populated. So the subject line is now populated. The attachment's name has been updated. If I open the attachment, you'll see that the fields in here have been updated as well. And of course, the fields in the body of the email have been updated too. Then the final thing that people are really interested in around our Outlook app is the Save on Send feature. So when I send an email, I get asked, do I wish to save a copy of that sent email into my file system in SuiteFiles? And in this case, the answer is going to be yes. So let's just save it again into our Ultimate Demos client folder, and I click Send and File. So when I refresh here, we should see, there we go, there's a second email in there, the Ultimate Demos Limited Welcome Aboard email. And that's now saved into the system so that anyone else who comes into that client folder can see that email sitting there. Okay, so that's really the basis of the demo part of the session that I want to do today. So I'm going to switch back to my presentation and we'll continue on here. So the next thing I want to talk about, that people always ask us about really, is migrating. And what are the options around migration? How does it work? How long does it take? All those sorts of things. So first of all, migration options. There's really two, I guess, opposite ends of the migration options that you can take. One is that you can set up SuiteFiles and have nothing in it. And then as you go, you can simply create the folder structure that you'd like and add new files into the system. And maybe if you've got some old files in an old file server, you can upload those as and when required. And a number of people do that. I guess it's a real sort of DIY approach. And of course, you're not taking, or not pre-populating the file system with any information, but it's absolutely valid and a lot of people do it. The absolute opposite to that is to migrate everything. So picking up all of your files from a file server and copying them up into the SuiteFiles system. And what we do really is we copy that structure that you've got on the file server. So we have the same folder structure and the files in that folder structure when you get everything up into SuiteFiles. Which option you take really just depends on the needs of your business. And of course, there are options around how much file data you take as well. Some people want to limit things to maybe the last 2 or 3 financial years. Other people want to take everything. Again, it's over to you and what really meets the needs of your business. What can be migrated? Well, pretty much anything that can be a file on a file server can be moved up into SuiteFiles. It's relatively straightforward. There are 1 or 2 file types that that Microsoft and their Office 365 system don't permit you to migrate or copy across, but it's very limited, and those file types are things that they're technical IT related type files or code type files for developers. It's not really anything that a standard computer user would really have to worry about. Things like your your Office documents, your PDF files, your emails, maybe your sort of backups of any sort of like QuickBooks or MYOB backups, those sorts of things, they can all be uploaded without any issue. What can we migrate from? Well, again, just about anything. We started out simply only doing migrations from file servers, so just standard folder structures on a file server, but now we've really built on that, and we can migrate you from just about any file management system that you might be using. The common things that we get asked about by accountants are, how can we migrate from MYOB Document Manager or Virtual Cabinet? Every now and then we get asked about systems like iManage. We can pretty much take you from all of those systems pretty seamlessly and get you into SuiteFiles very, very quickly. So what's the process? How does it work? People always ask us that as well. So this is what we do is we get online with you and we have a look at your current file system, whether it be just files on a file server or if you're using some other file system that's database built. And we can have a look at that and really work out pretty quickly what it's going to take for us to do the job. When we've worked all that out, we schedule a weekend. We like to run these processes over the weekend. We start on a Friday night. Once you've finished for the week, and you're finished with all your files, make sure that everyone's closed their computers down and no files are open, and you don't work on your files over the weekend, because any changes you might make or new files you load into the file system, we can't guarantee that we're going to pick those up. If we need to extract files from another system, we will do that, and we'll work with you on a specific folder structure to put those files into. When we're extracting from other systems, it's pretty much just client folders that we're pulling out. So we'd have a client-based folder structure with a standardized set of subfolders under that, and put all the files into them. Once that extraction is done, we start the process of uploading everything into SuiteFiles and into Office 365. As I mentioned earlier on with the previous slide, we target a zero downtime migration, and 99.9% of the time that happens. So odds on that you'd come in on Monday morning and the file migration has been completed and SuiteFiles are set up and ready for you to go. After that, we have training sessions for people who have just started out on SuiteFiles. So you'd come in on Monday, you'd use SuiteFiles for a few hours, and then you'd come along to one of our SuiteFiles training sessions. We run sessions for standard users, we run sessions for administrators, we run sessions for people who want to manage templates, and we also actually have a specific Xero Practice Manager training session as well for people. All right, so that's the basis of my content today. So, I guess now it's really what next, and what can we do to help you out. So SuiteFiles, we do have a free 30-day trial. We very, very strongly recommend that everyone who's interested in SuiteFiles uses that trial process fully to understand how the SuiteFiles system works. When you're changing your file management system, it really isn't just a case of sort of turning a new system on, trying it out, seeing how it goes, and if it doesn't work, pulling all your files back out of it into the old system. You're really kind of committing to make a choice to change, and that change can be a reasonably good one. And a big one. So we want to make sure that you use that 30-day trial fully to understand what SuiteFiles is all about. Make sure that the processes that you work on and have in your business, you can continue to use those processes with SuiteFiles, or if there's another way around it that hopefully might be more efficient for you. We have 3 different levels of pricing plan. Our starter plan, our full suite plan, which is the one that 95% of our customers are on now. That's $18 per user per month, and that actually gets you everything that we've talked about here in the session today. And then we also have our Pro plan, which is a bit bigger. Most people don't really need our Pro plan. The main things around the Pro plan that you get over and above our standard full suite plan is around the volume of backup data that we keep. As a part of our SuiteFiles full suite plan, we will back up to 500 gigabytes of file data for you as a part of our backup process. Just to give you, I guess, an indication, I think we've only got 2 clients out of our 450 or 500 clients using SuiteFiles now who have more than 500 gigabytes of file data in the system. So it's not normal at this stage, but yeah, so our full suite plan will be the thing that most people will get the most out of. And then if you want that trial, that's at our website, suitefiles.com. There's a big red button at the top of the screen that says trial now. All you need to do is click on that button, complete the form, and then we'll get back to you with instructions on how to get SuiteFiles set up as a trial for your business. Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody. I really do hope you have appreciated the webinar today. Yeah, thanks for your time and have a great rest of your day.